Hey everybody, this is Brent and you were listening to the Speaking Of podcast. Today I did something fun. We're doing a new segment called Headlines, where I'm sitting down with some of my friends and colleagues, even family in this case, and we are talking about just current events, things that are going on in the world. Our producer Ron has selected some headlines and we are tackling them as they come. Some of it's good conversation, good spiritual stuff. Some of it's just frivolous. Either way, I hope you enjoy it. Here it is, Headlines, my conversation with Bradford Rogers, Shea Guptill, and Anthony Moore. And we're live. Here we are. Welcome.
Here we are.
Folks, we have some returning guests.
We do.
Anthony, no stranger.
No stranger.
Just about a full-fledged wingman at this point.
That's right. Something like that.
Lucky you.
Bradford back from his time on the injured list.
Holla back at your boy.
and my sister is here for
first time ever.
This is officially our most woke, diverse.
Let's go.
We got a woman.
Look at us go.
And a black guy.
Yeah, let's go.
Here we
About
go.
time,
Here we
King's
go.
Church.
Love
Come
being a
on.
token woman.
Cancel
Do you like
this.
being the token black guy?
Cancel
That's
this.
right. I do low key enjoy it, actually.
Yeah, you do rule the roost with that. So, well, today we're not going to get canceled for diversity, but we might get canceled for what ends up being said. So who knows?
Let's go.
What we're going to do today is, I thought it'd be fun to every once in a while on the podcast talk about just current events, what's going on in the world, react to it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe bring some pastoral insight or just personal insight to different things that are happening on planet Earth. So that's what we're going to do today. We are in a podcast segment called Headlines. Headlines. We need music for this, Ron.
Yeah. I think we need the typewriter. Don't we need the typewriter? Yes.
Or the old school '80s like breaking news.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it. Yeah.
Whatever. So
Channel
headlines,
7.
but everything's breaking news now.
Oh, everything.
You can't get critical music enough.
No.
You can't get intense enough.
No,
It's all on all the time.
No.
Yeah.
Everything is bold font. You know, it's Trump has got to be on the screen somewhere. You have not looked at Fox News or CNN
man, he's everywhere.
in 5 years without his name on the screen.
Yep.
That's right.
It's good
and I feel like the scrolling chyron or whatever it is, like just gets bigger.
word.
It's bigger and
Totally.
it's older.
You're gonna see Anderson Cooper's eyes in the future, and it's just gonna be the scrolling things to be concerned about on planet Earth. But well, we had our producer Ron. Ron is gonna host today. He's gonna give us a handful of pre-selected headlines that none of us know about. We don't know about these headlines. We have not had a chance to prepare, so this is really off the cuff. How are we processing these things? How do we react to it?
Yes.
You know, we'll clip these on YouTube and say Anthony Moore strong reacts.
That's right. In bold.
Strong reacts.
Yep.
Ben Shapiro owns.
Yep. Bradford Rogers destroys.
The world today, folks. All right, so let's jump in. We'll see. We'll tackle a few of these. This could be a giant. This is an experiment. This could be a big train wreck. Yeah. This may never see the light of day. We don't even know at this point. This is not live, but hey, let's give it a try. So, what's our first headline, Ron? Headline 1. Headline.
For some reason on my Twitter feed like crazy yesterday.
All right.
In case you guys wanted to talk about this.
Oh no.
Okay, the headline is Heinz.
Great
Big
news.
Heinz will start making ketchup in Canada again.
Good news.
Wow.
Yes.
It took them long enough.
That
I would say.
French
Has it been like 2-3 years maybe since the big uproar?
So why do they
Has
stop?
it been more?
Like they just stop because
I think because
Business is better in the U.S.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
maybe
It's
I don't
cheaper
know.
to produce in the U.S.
Wow.
Maybe it was
So the headline is
Chinese ketchup.
Heinz will make ketchup in Canada again. They stopped, so we lost some jobs there.
Yep.
But as the consumer, we never lost access to Heinz tomato ketchup.
No, that would be an uproar.
I do remember for a brief
would we carry
minute,
on?
thinking, I'm going to support Canadian business and I'm going to buy French's.
Yes. For a minute, only once. I only thought that once.
Hey, listen.
This podcast is not sponsored by Heinz.
Listen, I want you to know something here. That's a detail that's very important. When that happened, my family switched to French's, and we have not gone back.
You have not?
We have not gone back.
French's.
That was
ketchup.
one of those things that we said we're doing this, and we followed through on it, and we've just.
Do you regret your decision?
No, because
Really?
I forget what Heinz tastes like. We know what French's tastes like. It actually tastes not bad.
It's
I'm
not.
not
It's
a
not
bit
as
of
So is
good.
there like a taste?
It's not as good.
Oh, there is a
Different?
I
And a
don't know.
texture
I
difference.
thought it was more subtle than if you went to like No Name, like No Name
That's
ketchup
true.
or something.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I don't buy the groceries in our family, so I know at one point we did French's, but then Heinz has made its way back into our fridge.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I don't know. I don't eat ketchup either really all that often. So
Okay.
I wonder if you did like a blind taste test, if you could tell the difference between French's.
Why don't we have
And-
that right now? That'd be amazing.
we should have. Ron,
Wrong.
I brought a tray.
I don't have a Christian
Eat some
take on it
ketchup.
other than as a believer, we probably should try to support local business.
Yeah,
'cause
absolutely.
I don't know if you heard the podcast a few weeks ago. I did a conversation with Al. Al, what's his last name from the UK? He's a pastor. Al
Yes.
Gordon.
Yeah.
That's a
He
good
talked about how the church really should be making where you are better, right?
Right.
Like
That's right.
where you're planted
Yeah.
should flourish. And he talked about how they have like bees. Their church has a beehive, or like what's
Yeah.
a beehive? Not a hive,
Colony?
a colony.
Colony.
They have like they brought bees, and
Yeah.
it's actually
Awesome.
made the flowers and stuff nicer in their area.
I just want you to know that, and this is so random, that when you said bees, my mind, that's exactly where my mind went. Chris
Tommy Boy.
Farley and David Spade running out of,
Have you seen Tommy Boy?
No, I have not.
Bradford!
Yeah, it's a little bit older than me.
That's not cultural. That's a
I know.
That's
Sorry, guys.
age demographic, is it?
Yeah, it is age demographic.
You're the youngest here. We're woke with that too. We
Yeah,
got
because you guys are all 30
we got some Gen X.
Right. I am.
I'm officially a
Squarely.
zennial, actually.
Ooh, the
Yes.
in-betweener.
I'm an in-between. I'm
Yeah.
I'm partially Gen X, partially millennial. Officially millennial, I think, but
Yeah.
I'm the front end of the millennials. So you're full-on millennial.
Full-on millennial.
Yes,
Proud
I
of
am.
it.
Yeah, and you're
I'm a young-
you're a young millennial.
Young
You're the-
millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually a curious detail about when I was born. It was actually the baby boom bottomed out. That was the bottoming out year, 1975. Was the baby
Wow.
boom. I was the end. I was called the baby bust. So it was kind of a miracle that I was born.
Wow.
So you're a buster?
I'm a buster.
You're a buster.
Hey, Buster.
Okay.
you imagine calling people that these days? Hey, Buster. That's such an old person
That
thing to
is,
say.
that is an old thing to say.
Yeah.
Hey,
Anyway.
Buster. So yeah, I don't have a hot take really on the Heinz
No.
thing, other than
Just
welcome
preference.
back,
Yes.
Heinz.
Yeah,
You're
welcome
Back
back.
to
Yeah.
Canada. We're glad you're here. We're glad their jobs coming back into the Canadian
That's
market.
right.
That's a good
Yep,
thing. That's a
for
good
sure.
day. We're excited to see that. So
I wonder how French's feels about it, though.
Ooh.
yeah, probably not
not
the
as
best
happy.
day.
Yeah.
That was a great day for
They're gonna
French.
die.
I know it was. They probably expanded
Heinz
operations.
Hired more people.
I wonder if we have any listeners that work for French's. Oh, there's like one listener out there
Apologies.
that works for
Turn us
French's. I have no dog in the fight. I'm happy for French's, happy for Heinz. I don't
Yep.
care about ketchup.
Yeah.
All right, let's try another one, Ron. Let's try. That was a good warm up. That was a good warm up.
Next one.
That was a good one.
More local one. I don't know if you guys know.
Oh, local
City of
news.
St. John hit by
Oh, I saw that.
Yes. I
What?
saw this.
So let me make sure.
Ransomware
Let me make sure
attack.
our listeners hear the headline clear. If they couldn't hear Ron, City of St. John hit by significant cyber attack. So I don't.
Oh, my word.
I'm realizing now I'm 0 for 2 on being up to date on the
Yeah.
news. So I
So it was like 2 days
What
ago. or
happened?
It was a
something.
couple days ago, and it's like
Yeah.
one of like only 3 or 4 major like cities in Canada that have been attacked.
Right.
so what
cyber
happened?
attack.
What is this?
I think
entail?
No.
It was a ransomware thing.
Oh, was it?
What's
Okay.
ransomware?
So they
They put a
I'm gonna
virus
sound
on
dumb.
it. It's like you have to pay them, or
I
they
have to give them a bunch of
ruin
money
everything.
to get your
Wow.
stuff back.
They wipe
Oh.
stuff. Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
okay, so
Legit.
it's like blackmail. So this is a hold up. This is a stick up.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a stick up.
Wow.
It's
It's
a virtual, a cyber,
big.
a cyber stick up.
The new outlaw. The new outlaw is a guy who hasn't shaved in months, who lives in his basement. Lives in his mom's basement,
Yeah.
and he's out here robbing. He's Robin Hood.
He needs to
City
get
of
out of
St.
his house.
John.
Oh my gosh! But you know what? My first thought was, why St. John?
Because they probably thought,
That's what
because
I
he probably
thought, too.
looked and did some kind of data analysis and said, here's the vulnerable cyber
Okay.
cities.
Maybe, yeah.
Pretty sure the other ones were like Toronto,
Yeah.
Montreal,
Right.
St. John.
St. John.
Hey,
John,
why not?
why
How does
not?
it-
They're
how does
weird.
it-
on the map.
How does a cyber guy, terrorist, whatever, how does he scope out his prey? How do you what's the word?
There's got to be an algorithm or something
Yeah,
that
maybe.
he had to. If you're at the level where you can hack
an
a
educated
city's
decision.
infrastructure, it can't be a haphazard. You know,
I
there's a reason he didn't choose
right.
Winnipeg.
Norton.
Norton.
Village of Norton
Oh man.
attacked and ransom for a ransom of $50
That's
to
right.
get back
Yeah.
archived MSN Messenger conversation
That's right.
between
Yes.
between town clerk
Yeah.
and owner of JMail.
Doors and windows. Yeah.
Amazing.
Man.
So cleanup from St. John's cyber attack could last months, says cybersecurity expert. Well,
Yeah, I think they like took over like the
Oh,
911
from Russia.
Russian
Russia
origins.
is like ruining the world.
Again.
Man.
Russian origins suspected.
Everything's always Russia, isn't it?
I feel like that's
feel
just the
like-
default.
Yeah, that's easy to blame.
It is.
It is.
It's been all along, like the Cold War thing back in the 80s, and
man.
wow, it's always Russia.
If you watch,
It's definitely always them.
guys.
have you guys watched on Netflix the Queen's Gambit?
So good.
No, but I heard
So
it's amazing.
Loved
good.
it.
Heard it's amazing.
Made
I
me
saw the
really
first
really
5
appreciate
minutes of it.
Russians.
Really.
No.
At the end of it, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Really?
absolutely.
Made them a little more normal.
It painted them in a positive
It
light.
did.
I
in the
like
end.
it. You know what?
Gracious losers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
they were.
in chess. I mean, in
In
chess.
chess.
Let's be clear.
Yes.
Now, I mean, I'd have to talk to a Russian if they would have liked that, because it was the classic story of American whiz kid comes in and beats Russian experts, basically.
Yes.
That's
It
how
was.
that-
That's
Rocky.
the class.
But they were gracious losers.
it.
They were.
right?
Yeah.
You
They were.
are perhaps the best chess player I have ever played against.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
oh.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
What a, like a North American bias, though, right?
Yeah,
We're just
I know.
sitting here
I
like, well,
know.
naturally.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, it was good.
Well,
Well, I
Hope,
have no hot take on Russia either, I guess, but. Oh, here it comes. one.
here we
it
go.
comes.
Let's
here's
get
it,
this.
here's it,
Me and
here's it.
Anthony.
All right. So, new headline is The Guardian reports
The Guardian.
that Joe Biden wins U.S. election
JB.
after 4 tumultuous years of Trump presidency. That's a loaded. That's a
It is
loaded
loaded.
headline.
Yep.
I mean, The Guardian's loaded, and then
And what a picture.
it's good. It's
So
a good picture of
proud.
Joe.
Yeah.
He looks like not as dead as he
Yeah.
normally looks.
That was dead.
Less
Yeah,
dead.
looks-
That's
Okay,
good.
so let me go.
All right, go ahead. Anthony.
Let me
You
go.
start.
Okay.
I appreciate because we got Bradford.
I'll
here,
rebuttal.
too.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We got
Go ahead.
Bradford here
Here's
too.
the question.
Okay.
Here's the initial question.
Sure.
Has he actually won? Has he actually done anything yet? Because there's no certification. Like the results have yet to be certified by the states, like each individual state.
Yeah.
So did he actually win anything?
I feel like by the time this comes out, it's going to be over.
It's probably gonna be over.
Yeah.
Arizona is like official was the one that
Right.
put him over.
Okay.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Is it
Right.
official though?
Yeah,
Like,
but it is
it's-
because he's not actually. I'm just saying. I'm just for the sake of argument. He's not actually president elect until it's certified, right? Until the electoral
Signed,
college or
sealed.
whatever the states actually certify the election. That's just my question.
Yeah.
Did he? And if he did, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's so 4 tumultuous years
Yeah.
of the Trump administration, which I think is a fair statement, actually.
Yeah.
You know, economy aside, Christian values aside, you can't say that everyone's getting along just so nicely.
For sure.
In
Yeah.
in not only the United States but worldwide. And I wonder if, you know, we had some discussion. I don't know if it's on the podcast or not. I feel like we've been talking a lot about
Yeah.
this, but like had some discussion about, you know, is it possible that Donald Trump's personality, you know, has multiplied itself in the culture. And like, you know, I would say 4 years of Trump's presidency, yes, you could point at some economic things that are good. You could, as a Christian, you could say, you know, the Supreme Court justice thing's great. We got our way, whatever. But you could also look at the state of things and the division and the accusation and the distrust and all those things. Like, you wonder if that mirrors him, you know?
Fair enough.
I think Trump exposed it a lot more.
Yeah.
Like
That's fair.
I think a lot of the distrust and the dissension has already been there.
Yeah.
I agree.
And aside from like, you know, like the politics, like it's been heavy, like white supremacist,
Right.
like heavy, these little, you know, little like agendas.
Right.
So I think Trump like magnified it.
Right.
It gave those things that were in the culture underlying like these groups or whatever. It gave them a foothold maybe they didn't have.
Sure.
Yeah, everything just got maybe just everything got louder.
Amplified?
Yeah,
everything got louder
yeah.
in the last 4 years or whatever 5 years because it got crazy. As soon as he threw his hat in the ring, it got crazy. Right?
Extra crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
for
it
sure.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
extra crazy.
I think that's a fair take, but I still don't know where I stand on a lot of it. I'm still processing a ton of it. Whether I think Joe Biden, do we think Joe Biden's good for America or not? What do you think?
TBD.
I think people voted more for Biden because of Miss Harris.
Right.
Yep.
That's my opinion. And I think people voted for Joe because they hated Trump.
Right.
Like,
That's fair.
Not because they liked Joe. I think because they hated Trump more.
I think Joe's a giant train wreck.
Yeah, like, I think
when
Joe
watch
is
that
shady,
guy, I'm
too.
like,
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know if he's shady. Like, I think he's got a bit of a train record. Track record of some stuff that doesn't really line up with what his party is into. However, I just mean the sheer like. He doesn't seem like he's firing on all cylinders.
No.
You know?
It's not.
Like that's my fear of it.
Yeah.
Is like he seems.
There's an interesting thing that happened, or I think that like this is so deep, and I don't know how deep you want to dig into it, but there's just some stuff that he said over the years. The stuff like he was a former segregationist, like he was all the things that people accused Trump of being. Right, Trump's the dude who had the selfies with Jesse Jackson,
Lil
and
Wayne.
before he threw his hat in the presidency. He had all the pictures with the guys who hate him now.
Yeah.
Right, like it was like there was a thing, and Joe Biden's actually been the segregationist, and he was the guy that he did the crime law, whatever, the one in '94. He's done these things. Like, if you ever listened to Charlemagne,
I love Charlemagne.
He flat out said on one of his podcasts, like, Joe Biden's more racist than Trump ever was, right? Yeah. Like, and he just the fact that there was a thing that nobody ever saw about Biden saying, if you don't. Essentially, I'm going to butcher the quote. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You ain't black.
Yeah, that's
right. Like
that was a hilarious moment.
I know, but it's just like the irony is if Trump ever said that, like you'd never hear the end of it, right? But no one ever heard of that. But anyway.
But again, that comes back to your point, though. I think people were willing to swallow the Biden pill if it's like chemotherapy. Like so, this will get rid of Trump,
right?
Okay,
yeah. No,
like I think that was what I think it does. That brings up a cool, interesting point. One of the things I noticed though with the election was the black vote for Trump went
highest.
Up
highest
quite a bit.
been.
What's that?
Ever
What do
been.
you? Let me ask my black friend. What's your take on that? Why we're more than ever
for a guy who was so vilified and whatever he was projected a certain way. Why do you think the black vote went up?
I from speaking to my family, it's because of Trump. That's really the main reason why, is because Trump is more overt with his silence towards racism. So they picked Joe because of that, and because of Miss Harris.
Right.
It's because she will be the first female black.
Right.
But why?
Vice
My
president.
question though is
Yeah.
why was there? There is a growing groundswell of black people who aren't buying the sort of democratic woke, like they're
Like the
they're
black vote
starting
for
to-
Trump.
The black vote for Trump was the
went-
highest
went
ever.
Highest ever.
Like it wasn't
Yeah.
just the black vote was highest ever.
Yeah.
More people voted, more black people. The only demographic for Trump that went down was white men. Women,
Yeah.
women, Hispanics, black people. Like Trump had his most diverse. Now again, I mean it's still low.
Who knows?
It's still predominantly
not great.
predominantly white people, but it does say something like when you hear the Ice
Yeah,
Cubes
yeah.
and the Lil Waynes and the
Yeah.
people who are like, yeah, this guy actually is saying more things I agree with in some ways than what they are. So I don't know. It's a complicated mess. I think I'm. Well, one, I don't think Trump's going to get back in. I mean, he might. If he does get back in, I will. If like he somehow finagles a way back in, I will 100% stand up and applaud the Christian prophetic voices that have said
Yeah.
Trump's going to get a second term.
Here's the thing, and this is part of what, and the part of led my first question, is there is actually technically a legal path to victory for
There
Trump.
is still, yeah.
And that's the thing. And this is not, this is actually a little outside of the Trump versus Biden thing. To me, this speaks more to the perceived authority that the media has certainly taken upon themselves, or we've given them, to actually say what we should, not just what we should think, but how we should think. And it's actually technically correct to say that Biden hasn't officially won the election. It actually is technically correct to say that Trump actually still could, even though the odds are against him. Sure, it's a court thing, and there is, you know, all the evidence will come out in court and all that stuff, but it isn't. That's my problem, is it actually technically isn't a done deal yet. However, the media from day one has said this is a done deal, even though it's not technically. And they're really not giving any airtime to all of the legal proceedings, and it's whatever. And I don't know where all that stuff is, but I'm just saying that bothered me a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think my take though is on the Biden thing is, and this is probably not a popular take with a lot of Christians. I don't even know if you agree with you. I don't think you agree with me. Is I actually think it's better for the church that Biden wins.
Right.
Better for the church in America.
Yeah.
That they, for that huge segment of evangelicals that lobby so hard for Trump, I feel like there is a blindness to a level of hope they have in America that is unhealthy, and that this is a good thing for them to have some frustration in the White House so that they can have heightened energy and trust and hope in the kingdom. I think a little separation of church and state in the church is a good thing. But
the other thing, we could move on, but I just think that this is, I can't ever get past the pro-life issue. Like I can't ever get past, like, and Biden and Harris aren't going to do. In fact, it's going to swing any kind of like pushback with Planned Parenthood and all that stuff. Any kind of like,
they're going to add some
defunding,
more too.
It's going to increase, and they're going to target even mainly, like, it's just like the Planned Parenthood has its roots in racism, right? And they're going to fund that even more. They're actually going to throw money at it, and it's going to go the other way. And that to me might be the greatest tragedy. If he does win, that might be the greatest tragedy of whatever this is.
Sure.
to flip that back though, like again, I know we can keep rehashing the same things, but it's worth saying, like it's not as cut and dry as if I vote this way, less babies will be murdered. Like actually, like I read a stat that Planned Parenthood received more funding in the last 4 years than they had in any other 4-year window.
Right.
Like under the Trump administration.
Right.
So it's not, and the other piece is like, yes, I think it will save some lives, and it's worth fighting for. However, I think the abortion issue is much more complex than just if these people get into office, less babies will be aborted. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's actually true. Because it's connected to a bunch of things.
I will tell you this though. My pushback on that is William Wilberforce, like the guy who worked real hard from is like from a slavery abolitionist in the UK, right? And his position was he fought the fight in government, and it wasn't until a governmental change was actually made that you actually saw the abolition of slavery throughout the empire, the British Empire.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this shouldn't be fought in government.
It's a both and.
No, I'm even saying the way you fight it in government though isn't just like. There might be other avenues. Is what I'm trying to say. There's an ecosystem of abortion, and it's not just is it available through Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Like there's poverty goes into that.
Yep.
Like life choices. Yep. Like there's a bunch of things that are connected to all that, and I don't think it's as simple as one for one. If it's legal, it'll happen. If it's illegal, it won't happen. Or if it's funded, it'll happen. If it's defunded, it won't happen. I don't think it's that simple, and I don't think that it's as simple as saying if we just get rid of this government, then it's going to go away.
Yep.
When that's just not been the case. It's been a thing in America. Yeah. It's a heart thing, and is the bigger.
I was just gonna say, I think that there's like some hope though that comes with the leader of your country being on the same page as your values, saying like, no, abortion is wrong, and that opens up a world of things to people who maybe just always assume that abortion is okay because my leaders say it's okay. But as soon as somebody in power says no, it's actually not okay, that might flip the switch for somebody. That's enough to
for sure
save a little baby.
It's such a loaded conversation, and it is so wrong, and I believe, and it is such to the heart of God. I just think it's such
it's tragic on an incomprehensible level.
It really is. I don't want anybody to mistake what I'm saying here. That I'm I'm loose on that. I'm not at all. I just don't know though. I think there's a degree of hope and trust put in a right-wing agenda that it's going to solve problems that I don't think it's going to solve as clearly as we'd like to believe. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying I think it's still you can look in all kinds of cases all over the world of places where it's illegal and it's rampant. Like there people find ways. Like,
but it's I think again, this is a slippery slope. But if you were to make a change from a government, it's not. If you were actually we're going to do that. Like it seems like that's the most obvious and easy. It's like the low hanging fruit. Yeah. Right. Well, and it's not just low hanging fruit. It's connected. It's connected deep into the heart, right? Like, 'cause that's the piece of it is like, it's that, and that's why it's such a hot button is it's that artery. It's like a main vein of, it says something about like, it should, woe to the nation, woe to the nation whose leaders see it, don't value life. Right.
Like
totally.
Anyway, but I hear myself though. I'm like, yes, but push back on the people who are saying we're pro-life. No, you're not. You're just anti-abortion. But you're okay with war. You're okay with drone bombings. You're okay with
black lives being killed,
capital punishment, or police brutality. You're okay with all those things. You're not pro-life. You're just against abortion. 100%. And it's like I just feel like
that's a bit of a broad stroke, though.
It is a broad stroke, but you have people who are vocal about abortion, but not.
Fair enough.
And so it has to be, again, not to use the all lives matter to whatever, but the unborn, of course, and the born has to matter to all of us.
That's the thing. I just feel like there's so little objectivity in the conversation where we can't even see our own blind spots.
It's very hypocritical of all of us.
Let me just, and this is a bit of a, maybe this will take us out of it. Like there are times where I get overloaded with justice issues, right? Like I feel like I don't have the capacity to sort of juggle all the justices. Like I honestly, let's be honest. Like I have First Nations blood in me, right? I'm not far removed from that, and there's there's just a lot going on from that, even from a racial thing. There's just in Nova Scotia, there was a big thing a few weeks ago or whatever, or a month ago, whatever. There was a big, and still ongoing, right? Like, and like, I don't know if I don't have the mental capacity to juggle all the issues, right? Like, and that's my, I think people, if, I don't know, this is true or not, what do you guys think of it? I think that people have, they have one single hot button, like issue, and that's their pet. That's all they have the capacity to juggle. Like, I'm with you, man. Like, I think there is that, like, there's some really like if we just look at child sex trafficking, that might actually be one of the greatest, if not the greatest issue facing the world as a whole.
Like, as far as just abominable
thing. And I have, but I'm not capable of wrapping my mind around all of it, right? It's
hard to be passionate about everything.
Yes,
right?
Because if you're passionate about everything, you're passionate about nothing,
right? So it takes all kinds of people who are passionate about different things to really move any ball.
Yeah.
I think the church, though, we need to be the ones who are really quick to listen to, like, and that's part of my fear for the Christian right is we are as tunnel visioned as anybody else, and like, we should be the people who are least tunnel visioned, right? Like, we should be the ones who, like, God's given us scope into ourselves, like showing us our own blind spots. He's given us a vision into the culture that we have nuance. Like, if you look at, like, you shouldn't be able to line your Christianity up with a party line. It just shouldn't fit. Like, it should be a hot mess for you, and you should be able to start to navigate through these issues and say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to just blindly vote right all the time or vote left. Like, it shouldn't. Like we've said it on the podcast before. Like, Jesus is far too liberal to be conservative and way too conservative to be liberal. Like, he's just and you look at the Christians throughout the centuries. Like, you look at the early church, they opposed war. They were like fairly nonviolent, like which is pretty left. They were for the poor, very compassionate. Like, they're left leaning in that way, but they're also for a certain ethic of sexuality. They were for a certain idea of marriage. They were conservative. They just don't fit the categories, and we shouldn't.
I agree.
I think we should all have an alarm system in our own spirit and mind. If we find ourselves reciting the whatever talking points, if you're reciting the left progressive talking points all the time, and you hear that coming out of your mouth all the time, that should be an indicator to you that maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much, and instead of, like, the communion
Stop
blood
drinking.
of Christ.
Stop drinking that Kool-Aid.
Or the right, though. It's like, if
drink
you
the right juice.
Yep.
Anyway,
it
never felt like Jesus
is.
ever was just super aligned with any worldly institution at all. Like, he just sort of never was able to be pigeonholed into it. But that's a good headline.
Well, JB, we still love you.
JB,
we're gonna pray for you.
That's, you know what,
we're gonna pray for whoever is president.
Absolutely.
We're gonna intercede.
Absolutely. Like, and it's just like, I don't agree with him at all, but I pray for Trudeau. I do. Like, I don't agree with him on much. Like, the guy is spending us into bankruptcy, and I hate that. Everything about me hates that.
Spending dollars.
And I still pray for him.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
So
I'm such a
I don't
JT. No, JT and JB. Huh?
I'm such a millennial.
JT, Justin Trudeau and Joe Biden, JB and JT.
Oh boy.
We should start a band.
I think Trudeau would be into that.
He would actually.
Speaking moistly.
Speaking moistly. All right, what else we got, Ron? Okay, new headlines up. Oh, speaking of JT.
Oh, no.
A big sigh of relief. Trudeau says corona vaccines in spring will begin end of pandemic. When was this?
Man.
November 15th, a few days ago.
Yeah,
17th.
2 vaccines.
17th, yesterday.
Yeah.
A couple days. Sorry.
2 viable ones.
Whatever day that was.
Yes, right. Yes.
Certainly
This
wasn't.
will be like 2 weeks old, I think, when it comes out. But they may say that vaccine. There may be a headline between now and when this comes out, where it's like, "Oops,
whoopsie,
we were wrong."
But as of the time of this recording, a big sigh of relief. Trudeau says coronavirus vaccines in spring will begin end of pandemic.
beginning of the end.
Yay?
Question mark.
Yes.
Sure.
Actually, that's
Yay.
exactly it right there. Yay.
What are the side effects?
Right.
That's
Right.
my question.
So many questions.
Will I get diarrhea if I take this vaccine?
Or
Let's be
grow
honest.
another limb.
Or become a zombie, right?
Like, what's the side effects of it?
should
But hey,
live.
that's
Who
great.
knows?
That's
Facts. I'm
That's
gonna
great.
get about 6 anti-vaxxer
just
DMs.
Yes,
you
There's
are.
guaranteed. You would
Totally.
up. They are of the
Yeah.
SJWs.
Yes.
Yep.
The anti-vaxxers probably are
Yes.
the most hardcore.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
I mean,
They're passionate about one
for
thing.
sure. I'd be like, let's just wait 6 months.
Right?
I'm like that
not.
guy.
Let
I'm
somebody
not-
else do it.
Yeah, let's just see.
I'm not a I don't get vaccines very often. Like,
I don't
I
either.
get I get the main ones or whatever. But
Yeah.
like, and I just never bother.
Right.
But
I'll
if,
probably get it if I need it to travel, like to get out of here.
To get out of here.
Which I
Yeah.
see as being a thing. Like you can't come to the
Right.
States unless you're vaccinated, or you can't, right? Like you're gonna have to
Okay,
show them
yeah.
a little card. I can
Yeah.
see that being a thing, and that
Yeah.
would be very.
I don't get
Frustrating.
excited about the
Frustrating,
fact
but
that
yeah.
there is a vaccine coming for me, like that it's going to like protect me.
Right.
If there's a vaccine to the paranoia and pandemonium,
Yeah.
like, and if this
Come on.
brings down
Come on.
this freaking fear of it all, then
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Like,
Yeah,
if this makes
sure.
you feel better and lets you sleep at night and lets us get back to normal and we
Yeah.
can not be wearing masks everywhere and like, oh man, and I saw Fauci saying, well, we're going to have a vaccine, but you're still probably going
Yes.
to have to wear a mask.
I saw
Frig
that.
that.
Yes. Stop
saw
it.
that.
Just stop it.
I have this much left.
I know.
In fact, I was a little cranky with the girl at Good Life last night. I felt bad and had to repent.
Uh-oh.
I went in,
Yeah.
I had my mask on, and then now they make you read the questions when you go in. Like, did you? Like, lady,
Oh, really?
I've answered this 5 times today. No. I don't have coronavirus. I haven't been outside the bubble.
Put it on your head.
Yeah.
On
Like,
your forehead.
do you think I'd come here?
Big no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just so over it, man. I'm so.
Yeah. The
My
big.
favorite part is first it started as, okay, you have to be social distance.
I know.
And then it was, you have to have a mask and be social distance.
Yep.
And now it's going to be, you have to have the vaccine and
And
a
social
mask
distance.
and
Yeah.
be social
Totally.
distance.
I
Like,
want
when
to.
does
I
it
want to talk
stop?
about, and this is going to be back.
They're going to
my-
lead us to little pods
No.
in goop where they're
Yeah.
going to
Oh my
they're gonna
gosh.
shave us
Yes.
from head to toe, and they're going to lead us to little pods in goop.
We're all
And
gonna wear
they're
the
gonna
same
plug us
clothes?
in.
No. You know those big inflatable orbs that
Yes,
you wear.
everybody's in a bubble.
Everybody's gonna be one of those.
No, we're gonna
Yeah.
be in the Matrix. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna wake up one day.
We're
I pull
gonna
the thing out of the back
seriously,
of my neck.
Seriously,
Yeah.
this is the only way you're safe.
Yeah.
We'll just live
We're
in
gonna
avatars.
splice your consciousness
Yes.
into a simulation,
Yes.
and that way you can't get the
Yep.
a
virus.
simulation that the
Oh.
government has created. This
Oh,
new
man.
world that
Yes.
they've created.
No, this goes back to my beef with the media. It actually, I lost it. Where was I going to go with that? Anyway, I was going to say, let me shift off to the thing is like my big thing with this is whether it's going to be mandatory or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true.
actually where it hinges with me.
Yeah, that's sketchy stuff.
It is. If it is mandatory, I have all kinds of problems with that.
Yeah.
And I do feel like if it is voluntary, that you're going to have a good critical mass of people go and get it.
Yep.
But I actually like from a rights and freedoms
Sure,
perspective, I
sure.
have kind of that's a hang up for me.
It is and it isn't though. Like you can't like. Where's the line though? Because I do think. Excuse me, I'm drinking too much bubbly here. If I do think though, there is a line of. A government does have rights at some level that if it's providing a service that you would like to take part in, and it's not forcing you to take part in said service,
Right.
you should have to meet some minimum requirements for that, such as public school. It's
Sure.
like, if a parent's not comfortable with vaccinating their kid,
Right.
then maybe private school or homeschool is best for you. Like, is that not fair to
But
say?
okay, if you think about everybody who wants to get vaccinated has their kids vaccinated. So everyone who's afraid of it, or that's bad there. But just who is remotely concerned. That's a better way to say it. Is remotely concerned is actually going to have their family all vaccinated, right? So if someone comes in and who's not vaccinated, what are they going to care if my kid's vaccinated or not?
Yeah, that's
Right.
fair enough. Like I
Sure.
I do that makes good sense to me. I honestly don't care.
Yeah.
I just want this to go away.
I think
so
you're going to
bad.
see a lot of people not vaccinating their kids. Like I can't imagine
Right.
giving, like poking
A
my
test
kids with
vaccine?
this. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's no
'cause
way
it
I'm
was
giving my
anti-
kids this vaccine for multiple years.
Yeah.
Especially if
Let's
I
just-
mean kids aren't really getting affected by coronavirus a whole lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to give my kids a vaccine that's
No.
run for 6 months. I would get
Yeah.
it
Right.
if I have to.
And I think it's totally legit too. If you were going to travel, and they said if you want to come into our country, you got to get it. I think that's
Right.
totally.
There's
That's
got to be some
fair.
give and take
there
on
is
it,
that.
right?
I totally see that, and I
Yeah.
think that's valid. But if it's like I'm a citizen of Canada and New Brunswick, and it's like I should be able to determine whether or not my government can't force me to get a vaccine or not.
I will say this though,
Anyway.
on the issue of the vaccine, like, and this is what I would say to anti-vaxxers too, is like, don't trust, like, we live in a day and age where we all think we're experts at everything.
We do.
And we think that because I found it on Google,
Yeah.
I now, like I saw a meme one time of a doctor, someone saying, I have this, WebMD told me, and like we live in this time where we
know
all think
WebMD.
we're experts and we jump the line on
Yeah.
people who are actually proficient at something. Like I face it all the time with Bible teaching. I'll get
Right.
people kicking back to me, especially when we're doing this Revelation series. Like they'll push back on things, and I'll ask them where they got that, and they got it off Joe Don's
.com.
back Bible blog,
.io.
and it's yeah, and I'm like, come on, man.
It's not
like,
even like calm.
Yeah.
So-
It's not even a CA.
when
Yeah.
it comes to medical stuff, I honestly do not trust what I read or hear,
Yeah.
and I generally will text or call one of my doctor friends
Okay.
or my doctor.
Yep.
Like to me, like I
Yep.
trust what my friend Jeff, who's a doctor. I trust
Yep.
his opinion. One,
Yep.
I ask him, what are you doing with your kids?
Yep.
I assume you know more than I do
Yep.
about medical type stuff
Yep.
because you are educated, like actually educated, and not educated on some conspiracy rabbit
Yep.
hole that you went down on Google. Because
Yep.
that's the thing. People think that they're getting woke, and no, you're not. You're actually plugging into an algorithm that is feeding you. Let's go
Right.
social dilemma. It's feeding you
Yep.
more and more, which I think that's going to lead into our next headline by
Yep.
the looks of it. It's feeding you more and more what you already thought you wanted to hear.
Right. And let me just say this, and I remember that my little barb at the media, like at some point in this whole thing, this whole lockdown, this whole issue, this went from deaths to cases. And actually, like if you look at it, I went on the other day and just a news thing, and what they're showing you is this like, okay, the second wave, and like it spiked up in the beginning and then dropped down around summer. Now you see like a significant, maybe even a higher spike in cases. If you flip the view to COVID deaths,
Yes.
it actually spiked up, that correlated with the cases. It dipped down, and the
It's
cases
tanking now.
it's actually like it bumped up a little bit, but it's not spiking. The deaths are not like we've found ways to treat. We've actually like, we don't get into the political the jump, but we found doctors have found a way to treat it in a way that's actually way more effective than it was in the beginning. So if you actually if the media, but the media is all about cases and the wave and the lockdowns and all of that stuff, and the media is going to report on that stuff. But if we actually if the media actually decided to, what's the good news in all of this? Well, the good news, which you're not going to hear, is that the cases might be spiking, but
It's
the
less
deaths,
deadly.
it's way, 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 way less deadly than it ever has been.
Totally. And they didn't, it really is interesting. We just live in such a weird time with the media and trying to figure out up from down and left from right. And it just changes every day. But like the World Health Organization came out officially and said, who at first they were the media's allies about, we're supposed to, they came out not too long ago with, we do not recommend
Lockdowns.
strict lockdowns.
Yeah.
Like it's bad treatment, and it actually creates more side effects that are
Yep.
more catastrophic than, which I said unpopular opinion early on. Like I feel like the treatment's more deadly than the disease, and now they're basically saying that. Yet that got suppressed in the media. Like
Yeah,
you don't,
for sure.
you didn't read that at all. Like that was not talked about.
It doesn't fit the narrative, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And again, they want to sell panic.
Yeah.
They're selling panic. That's
Yeah.
all they're doing.
It is, and they're actually that's fantastic news, and you're not hearing about it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like
great
if,
news.
If we lived in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago,
Yeah.
and they destroyed the Death Star,
Yep. Right.
our media would not talk about
No.
it.
I don't know
We
Star
could
Wars,
not
guys.
celebrate
For
with
sure.
the
That is not bad
Ewoks.
enough.
Especially
News.
if Donald
Not
Trump
cover.
destroyed the
Yeah.
Star. You
Say
would
what
never
you
hear
want
about-
about
Yeah.
the Galactic Empire.
So what's the Death Star, guys? Is
They,
this like a white moment right now?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I don't even know.
say what you want about the Galactic Empire.
Oh no!
They did not control. They were not Orwellian in their
Right.
control of the
The
narrative.
narrative.
Real.
Because everybody knew in real time, on every
Yep.
planet, they were
Yes.
celebrating the fall of the empire.
They were.
They knew immediately.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
So no
Back
spin
on-
doctors.
No.
you
Back
know.
on Coruscant, Bradford,
Yeah.
the planet
Yeah.
Coruscant.
All I know is like Hunger Games. So I'm that's great. That's great, guys. I'm glad you guys had that moment.
I feel like I got a new idea for a podcast. We will watch Star Wars,
And I will
and
do.
Brad will real time react.
Yeah.
reaction.
That's what
Yeah.
we're do.
All I know is
right.
Samuel Jackson is one of the Jedis. Go black people. First black Jedi.
Billy
That's
D.
all I heard.
Williams, man.
Yeah.
He was the best movie. He was one of the key characters in the best of the whole lot. Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway.
I
Is
know
he
what
the
the
guy
Death
who-
Star is, but that's about it. I don't know a whole lot
Yeah.
about Star Wars either.
Yeah, but
I know
you'll go Lord of the Rings.
I will go Lord of the Rings all
Oh
day.
my gosh.
Actually, got no time.
we had a moment
Nerds.
yesterday. We had a moment where I was going to go Lord of the Rings, and I actually pre-qualified. Just Brent and I were talking, and I actually said I'm going to go nerdy on you, and he actually admonished me afterwards after I brought the scenario out. He was like, "This isn't nerdy.
Friend, that's
this
not
is
nerdy.
This is
Nerdy about that.
This is
This is
like,
real. This is normal
the
people.
way we
That's
talk.
normal language, and I knew exactly what you were going to say.
Oh
You
man.
say no more.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as you said, like when Frodo got stabbed,
Yeah,
and that some wounds just never heal.
Yeah.
Ooh,
of course.
Ooh,
Of course.
what a metaphor.
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
oh man.
All right, next headline. Here we go. All right, so this gets into a little bit what we're talking about.
yeah.
I think we're having fun here. This is fun.
Yeah.
You're the ultimate editor. Twitter's Jack Dorsey and Facebook Mark Zuckerberg accused of censoring conservatives.
Yes.
Facts.
They're about to go to jail, folks.
Facts.
They are.
They're about to go to prison.
You think so?
I think
don't
so.
think so.
I think there's going to be a little something
Yeah.
that's going to like reveal that.
Do you think?
I think you're going to be
I
able
don't think we're quite there. Sorry, no.
That's okay.
I've been talking a lot.
That's okay.
She's been much more polite on
Yes.
this. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know that they're going to be able to get away with, like, you signed up for this platform. It's ours. We can do with it what we want.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's how they're going to get away
But
with
there
it.
is some. If that's the case, right? There are laws around publishing and what you can and cannot say. It's tricky with that. Like,
Yeah.
is it a public platform and there's regulation and stuff like that? It gets a little. It's a little nuanced there
Yeah.
in how that's.
It
actually
is tough. Like if someone creates a weapon,
Yep.
are they responsible for how it's used?
Yep.
Right? And like I think these guys have created something that's being wielded as a destructive
100%.
weapon.
Sure. Yeah.
But are they responsible? I think where the issue is they, and this is why it's complicated. And this is why Social Dilemma is really worth listening to. Is those
Yeah.
guys were saying like, hey, these guys aren't bad guys. These guys didn't get into this trying
Right.
to.
Yeah.
They didn't know what they were making, and now it's this crazy animal that's out of
Yeah.
control, and they're trying to like regulate it at some level, but they can't overcome their own biases in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And
That's real true. Like, I mean, again, we're not gonna get out of politics on this. Like, you actually see, somebody did the math. I saw it the other day. Joe Biden's tweets that got censored, 0. Trump's was like 170.
Every one of them. Every one of them's got like the disclaimer at the bottom.
And
This could
that
be.
the fact that they actually feel like they need to do that, they have fact checkers, and the fact checkers a lot of times need to be fact checked.
Totally.
Right? Like, and so like I think that I do agree that I don't think it was necessarily malicious, but I do think that it is being used. It is being people are angling. Like
Yes.
people anybody with
They're
any
leveraging
right,
it.
they for sure are.
Yeah.
I think
for
too,
sure.
there's a mix up in there about when people are posting on social media, a lot of the time they're posting their opinion and making it look like they're
It's
saying it like it's
factual.
fact,
Yes.
when really it's their opinion.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these things that get fact checked, like Trump's just spewing opinions,
Sure
really.
he
Like
is.
he's not
Sure.
preaching fact. He's not, and we all know that. And so for them to censor somebody's opinion
Yeah.
is one thing,
That's
but
scary.
if it's really if it's really a fact, then
Yeah.
okay.
Like, who are they to think that they're the guardians of what I should read
Right.
or not?
Yeah,
Right?
but to flip back on their side, like I do think, again, it's going to come down to, it's going to reveal their own biases inevitably,
does.
unfortunately, and they
Yeah.
haven't done the work of, in their, they're not diverse enough in probably their own
Yeah.
like leadership to be able
Yeah.
to even stomach other opinions. However, they do it outside of North America. Like Facebook, like
Sure they do.
they tailor it for Saudi Arabia
Yeah, and
s-
the
like-
China and all that stuff where they're more authoritarian or whatever.
Yeah, I do think, and I've been saying it is worth watching The Social Dilemma. We watched it with Ava the other day, my daughter. My wife and I watched it with our daughter the other day, and wanted, because we're fighting with her on, she's 12 in middle school.
Yeah.
She wants a cell phone,
Right.
and
probably-
all my friends have phones,
Mm-hmm.
and we're like, sorry, honey, you're gonna be that kid. Like we've drawn a hard line and just said, she has a phone that doesn't have data, it has Wi-Fi, and like she's not on social media. To me, actually, the phone isn't the issue. The issue is
Right.
social media.
Yeah.
The issue is
Yeah.
Google. The issue is the echo chamber
Yeah.
and the vortex that is.
That brings up a great could lead into this. Like, I actually think that society, even with the social dilemma, and even with like the more we get into it, I actually think there is an increasing awareness. I don't know if we're exactly there yet, but I think that there's an increasing awareness to the destructive. Like, you're hearing that. Like, how many people have you, like, once in a while, like when you fast, I'm getting off social media because it's not actually that good for you, although it is a bit of a drug, right? So like people are starting to, there's a
They're waking
collective
up.
awareness to the actual, like, okay, I don't know what the future is going to look like. Is it going to be healthy doses? Are we going to be able to manage ourselves, or is there going to be other regulation? But people are coming awake to the fact that it isn't actually healthy for us to live in an echo chamber, to constantly looking at the curated lives of
Right.
everyone around us, right?
I hope the market kind of corrects itself at some point,
Yeah.
where like so, for instance, journalism's a problem now. Like there's such little real journalism
Yes.
anymore. It's all in the kind of the monetized machine
Yes.
that is.
Yeah.
So they're obligated to certain things that's
Yeah.
going to make them not be objective.
Correct.
And not journalism.
Yep.
So I do think, though, there might be some people that find a lane where
Right.
it's like, no, this is real, objective. We
Yeah.
have not been bought,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I wonder if there'll be social media platforms that get developed that are neutral. They really
Yeah.
are neutral.
I don't know,
So
it's hard
They're-
though. It's hard though when you have like control over what you listen to. Like, you're gonna automatically build an echo chamber.
Yes.
You're gonna default to an echo chamber.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, if you have the control,
That's a good point.
it's actually a conscious choice in my feed, in my social media feeds, to stay connected to the people who disagree with me.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But most people won't do that.
No.
And that's the problem. It's all preying upon darkness inside of every human heart. Like the whole thing's. It's, again, back to the Trump magnified things that were already there. This is what social media is doing.
Yeah.
Technology is neutral
Sure
at
is.
some level. It's
Agreed.
unfortunate. It's just it's an amplifier. It's a magnifier and multiplier, and it's multiplying.
So true.
We need a doctrine of original sin. We need that to realize that
Oh, dude.
we are dark inside.
It
of
just screams there is a God. Like, every time I see that,
and I need a God.
I know,
Come on.
like that I am busted out in my own dysfunction, all
Yes.
left to myself. It just goes there for me. It just screams.
Yeah.
It screams it.
Yeah.
Let's do one or two more. What do we got, Ron? Okay, let's go with this. Headline, CBC News, the most objective CBC News reports SpaceX launches 4 astronauts to International Space Station.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I
I'm
wish
gonna
I
just
was
say,
one of them.
yeah,
Privately owned.
I love these
I'm
ones.
just gonna say, like, that guy Elon Musk. Oh, come on!
He's a brilliant guy.
He's a brilliant guy, and
He's
like,
brilliant.
there's a culture in SpaceX. Like, when you see, like, how many people have you guys seen the times where the boosters go up and then they come down and they land simultaneously
Yeah.
vertical? Like that was a significant and defining moment, I think, in wherever it's like space travel and how we do that, the reusable stuff. Like, but I got chills. I got emotional. I'm like, we've now achieved something here. I don't know what, but like I was so aware of the momentousness of the occasion, and to see the culture at SpaceX, they were like having a party. Like, it wasn't just your dry old nerds at NASA,
all like,
right, with the pen protectors going. I know it's not just that.
No,
That's but it is like the whole
Friend,
the whole
that is
company.
not nerdy.
But it
This is
is
cool.
like, yeah. It's just like, it's like they have a good culture there that like there's something about what's going on there that's amazing.
I think there's something about it that's in the heart of God. Like there's an
Agreed.
excellence and creativity and ingenuity and like it goes back to Genesis 1:29 where God says, you know, like here's creation,
Yeah.
fill it and subdue it, rule
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
Like we need to learn how to rule over gravity. We need to learn how to rule over the atmosphere and over time and over the expanse of the universe. And you want to nerd out for a minute?
Oh, totally. I was going there anyway.
Okay, because I haven't done this in the Revelation series yet, but like with eschatology and like, I believe.
Go there. Go there.
Here we go. I believe that the Lord is going to restore all things in the end.
Yeah.
And yet, if He gets us back to like pre-fall, right? Like so that's what Jesus has already begun. He's the new Adam, the true Adam, right? Like he's reversed entropy.
Yep. Yeah, come on.
Right?
Come
Like
on.
he's reversed the fact that everything's deteriorating and falling apart, and he has brought life that cannot be snuffed out ever. And he's the first Adam, and says in the Bible that all of us like him will get new bodies, will be forever, and then God's going to do that to the universe, right? And so, but I think it's bad hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is like for our listeners, it's how you extrapolate what the Bible's really saying.
Right.
It's bad hermeneutics to think that God's going to take us away to heaven, some other place. Like it actually speaks to him restoring all things. That's why Jesus rose in body. That's why that matters, is that he had a new body. That's why the gospel writers say he ate fish.
Yeah.
After and ate fish and honey. Why is that significant? Because you need to know he had a real body and he had an appetite. You know,
You need to know.
Paleo,
you need
guys.
to know he was on the keto diet. You know, no. So anyway, all that to say, I think the Bible points to the restoration of all things, and I believe that it's going to reset the original mandate of fill the earth, fill the universe, and subdue it, rule over it, multiply.
Yeah.
And part of that, I don't think God just made the universe like. I don't think there's just 100 billion suns out there. There's 100 billion suns that we know about, like in our galaxy, like in like. That's not even getting into the known.
100 billion galaxies. Yeah.
It just melts your mind.
Can't
But
even.
you throw eternity into that, right? You throw infinite time into that,
Yeah.
and it's like something about hearing Elon Musk discover like that, like.
Yeah.
Are we going to be seeing things land on planets forever? You know, like, and probably without gas powered rocket like propulsion. Let's get into. Did you get the headline about how the the Pentagon has released the fact that there have been. We're gonna lose all of our listeners now.
I know where you're
Here
going.
Here they go.
I know where you're going, and yes, we are.
The Pentagon has released though, like there are quantifiable UFO.
Yes.
We don't know what that was.
Yes.
It happened. We have video of it.
Yeah.
We don't know how in the laws of physics, according to our understanding, it did that. Do with it what you will. They've released that. That's out there, y'all. That's
My
not.
gosh.
that's
That
not-
doesn't mean it's a little green
No, it
Martian floating around.
No, what it
doesn't.
means is
Oh,
there's
gosh.
either there either are aliens that have technology that we don't have, or there's people on Earth that have technology and have mastery over physics that publicly we don't know about.
Well, guys.
Which is actually
Thanks for having me, guys.
which is actually more scary.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
To me, like that, to know that there are other human beings out there that if they have their hands on that type of technology that's defying the laws of physics as we know it, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that to say,
This is
I
bad.
feel
This is crazy.
like we will explore the universe forever.
I do.
Cultivate the universe forever.
It's
Create in the universe forever. That makes me excited.
Yeah.
I look at the stars. I'm like, I wonder if someday, 10,000 years from now,
Right.
me and my family will go live there for like maybe this is my sister. Like maybe who's to say in the grand
Where
scheme
are we
of things,
going?
I'm like, you know what? Hey, we'll see you Christmas. We'll see a Christmas star date 4,436. We're going to go live on that planet for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A day is like 1,000 years.
know.
1,000
Who's to
years
say,
is like
though,
a day.
That's not already reality somewhere. Like in my brain, I love to think of the
now-
universe.
okay,
wow.
Right?
Wow.
Who's to say that there's not in one of the
This is why you're here. You're here to keep us on Earth. You're here to bring us back down to Earth.
Who's to say that that's not happening? Like that
Totally.
in one of those billions and billions
Absolutely.
of universes
Talk
or
about
The force,
galaxies.
the force is strong with this one.
That's not already
There is
happening.
another.
There is another.
I'm not
there
saying
is
they're
an-
green Martians, but I
No,
in my brain it's probably another
Why would
version
we-
of humanity somewhere else.
Why would we limit God
Right.
to
Sure.
One
Sure.
little
this playing
globe.
out one time in one place? Like,
Sure.
like
That's true.
I have to believe, according to my theology, that Jesus is still everything and at the center of
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that he hasn't redeemed and reconciled and created and restored other
Yeah.
humanoids
I know.
or other beings created in his image.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you think about the nature of a creator. If you're creative, you don't just make one thing.
Yeah, totally.
You make
Yeah.
you make lots of things.
Yep.
And he's already shown us that on the earth.
Yep.
He's the variety and the diversity, like, and then he made things that make things. Like that's
I know,
the
and
crazy
that's the
part.
part. Like I go a little
That's
bit there.
wild.
That's where I sort of lean to is like we already know we have this desire to explore. Like back when I think actually we're getting in on like ground zero in this thing. Like we're actually getting in really early on in the scope of eternity, right?
Yes.
And like we're actually seeing
The story is young.
Yes, very very
Yes.
young. Yes, it is. And I see like we already want to get out there. Like we're already launching rockets for the last 60 years or so. We're already trying to go out, and at some point we're gonna go out and stay out there, and then that's gonna be the next
Frontier.
foothold or the next step in wherever else we go.
Well,
Yeah.
Bradford, thanks for staying with us in this conversation because
Great,
you're the
guys.
only one
I'm
left.
glad.
We've
Everybody
all,
else.
all gone to a new
Everybody
star.
else-
at this
Yeah.
point.
For real though, I could geek out on that stuff
I know.
all day. There is something, there's something in the human heart though. Like what makes us drawn towards exploration?
I
What
know.
makes us drawn toward the stars? Why have we been looking at that for?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not just that it's mysterious. There's something that calls us to it.
Yeah.
Like even that thing. Like why are we sitting in North America right now?
Yeah.
Because God put that kind of like
Yes.
I have to go see, I
Yeah.
have to explore, I have to cultivate, I have
Yep.
to dominate. Like that's in all of us.
I know.
And that's exciting. So way to go, Elon Musk.
I know.
Yeah.
Now find Jesus and
That's
we're
a win.
sailing.
Yes.
That's right. I
Yes.
know,
Like,
right? Totally.
Imagine.
Totally.
I
He'd be
can.
a great Christian.
I've had a lot.
He would be.
Who's your top 5? Here's the question. Who's your top 5? I wish they were brothers or sisters.
Oh man.
Who's the
Oh,
top off your
goodness.
top of your head? Just subjectively, not like because they, not Joe Biden or whatever. Like subjectively.
Steve Jobs would have been one.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Steve
He's
Jobs. I
brilliant.
wish he was a
John Mayer.
Okay.
Gravity.
Interesting.
A lot of musicians, like a lot of
Yeah.
musicians were like, man, like if Chris Martin was
Yeah.
Right.
in love with Jesus, that would just be amazing.
Yes.
And be so good for my playlist because I
Yes.
I
He
don't
already
love.
pretty much writes worship music. It's
Well,
just not
totally. It's like if you
not
don't-
directed
if you
towards
knew,
the Lord.
If you
Yeah.
knew, yeah.
I know.
Yep. Who else you got?
Oh man, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
LeBron.
LeBron.
Like if LeBron was an evangelist,
Dude.
Yeah.
it'd be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. I don't know who else. Steve Jobs was the first one that came up.
Ellen would be a
Ellen. Yeah.
Ellen,
A nice
Ellen,
person.
Ellen
DeGeneres.
DeGeneres.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
she's a bit of controversial right now, but
Yeah.
Ah, hey,
she's kind, man. I mean,
Yeah.
supposedly.
Well,
I don't know.
that's it.
Yeah,
right there.
is she?
Yeah.
Undetermined.
yeah.
If she
I
was
don't know.
as kind behind the scenes
Yes.
as she was in front of the camera, let's good just
Yeah.
even.
She's hanging on by a thread. She's almost canceled.
She's
almost
she's
canceled.
almost.
He
man.
is almost canceled.
What is it? Cancel
Yeah.
culture. Well, that's probably a good spot to start to wrap up today. Actually, that was if people stayed this long and got through the nerdery at the end, I applaud you. I
Yeah.
applaud you, Ron. Thanks for the headline.
Yeah.
We need
That
to
was
do this
good.
again.
Yeah,
We need
gotta
to do
it
this again. That was
fun.
fun. So we'll let's maybe hear some feedback.
See what the comments.
If there are anybody
DMs,
left.
if there's
this is
anybody
worth-
left,
If
yeah.
this is worth doing or not. But I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the pod, guys.
Yeah, it was an honor.
We're gonna watch Star Wars soon.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes.
Reaction video.
Would you watch it? Would you watch it? Would you sit
Yep.
down with us and
Have
watch
you done
it?
Lord
Like
of
the
the
full,
Rings?
the full 9.
Really?
We got to watch the original 3.
Okay.
But then at some
them in
point
the
we get the
proper
full.
order.
Have you
Yeah.
made it through like the canon of important movies? Yet?
Nope.
Like so, we need to watch through Lord of the Rings.
Nope, have not watched that.
Sure.
We could do the
Oh,
Hobbit
man.
trilogy
Oh
too.
gosh,
Oh,
I haven't watched that, but I
The
heard it's like
Matrix?
super long.
Have you done the Matrix
Oh, yeah.
trilogy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Matrix.
Okay.
Okay, if you can go Matrix, you're
Yes.
one step removed.
Yeah,
You
it's
are.
all the little like
If you
hobbits
can-
and stuff,
I was gonna, it
guys.
goes from humans to like
Well,
creatures.
Yeah,
But it's still set on Earth.
Yeah.
It's Middle Earth.
yeah.
So it's-
Okay.
It's
That's
near.
questionable.
It's at the
Yeah.
dawn of the age of men.
Yeah.
That's
I'd
all
rather
it is.
watch
Yes,
Will
totally.
Smith, to be honest with you.
Oh man.
All right, we out.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks everybody. Hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. Maybe we didn't lose you too much on the sci-fi weirdo stuff and you stayed with us till the bitter end. Hey, if you haven't already, if you've been enjoying this podcast, do me a favor. Would you give us a review, a positive review? Maybe leave a comment or maybe share this on your social platforms. Help us get the word out. We'd sure appreciate it. If not, we'll see you next time.